Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Joshua-Riece. Thank you so much for watching. Firstly, I just want to say a massive thank you because I reached 200 subscribers the other day. So I'm extremely happy and pleased about that. Secondly, you might hopefully notice a little bit different in what you're seeing. I have a new camera, so everything is kind of like 4K, high def, brilliant, fantastic, love it. So I shouldn't be going in that focus because it tracks my eye, it tracks my face, it tracks absolutely everything. So I'm here for that. So hopefully this will work. I mean, for the amount of money I paid, I hope so. I haven't quite yet figured out the microphone stitch. I have a microphone, but it's got some weird kind of background noise when I play back. So I will look at sorting that out at some point. So, as you can tell by the title of today's video, it's a little bit different. It's more a thing for you guys to get to know a little bit more about me. Kind of sitting and thinking after the announcement of the other, like this next lockdown, great, we love that for us. And it kind of dawned on me that as people like myself, like content creators, whatever, that kind of put themselves out on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, whatever it is, we only kind of allow you guys to see what we want to and don't really let people see the human side of us because we're not always kind of laughy, jokey, ha kiki. Like it's not real. So I put a question thing up on my Instagram and also on my Facebook just for people to ask any questions that they wanted to know about me. So I have a list of. I will try and go through them all and obviously cut down the ones that I don't feel necessary when editing. So yeah, without further ado, let's just jump into this, I suppose. So we're going to jump in with some of these questions. These have come from, as I say, Instagram and Facebook. So a variety of people that know me properly, people that don't. But we will just jump right in. So I'll start with like the more makeup related ones and then go on to the more me related ones, I suppose. So the first question is, what camera did I get? So I have just purchased the Canon EOS M6 Mark II. I was using a Nikon D3500 before, I believe. So the reason why I had changed or upgraded was, as good as the other camera was, in terms of video capabilities and even kind of picture capabilities, there was no autofocus, there was no kind of ability to do any remote work. So like on this, I can operate the camera through either my phone or my iPad. So I've got more capabilities of doing more hands-free, so having to keep clicking like autofocus or manual focus or whatever it was. This films in 4K, which is a plus. It's got face recognition as well as eye recognition, so it follows my eyes, my faces, so I'm always in focus, which is a plus. Well, it may not be for you, but I think it's a plus. So yeah, I upgraded to that Canon. Canon? Oh wow, Canon. So next, what is my favourite foundation? My favourite foundation depends on what I'm using it for. So if I want something kind of more lightweight, day-to-day-ish, I suppose, I don't wear makeup day-to-day, it will be the Fenty Pro Filter Hydrating Foundation, I think that's what it's called. So I use that, I've got it on today. So this, I think, is a lot more lighter coverage, lighter wear, makes the skin more breathable, makes my face feel like it's got nothing on, basically. And in terms of something that's a bit more full coverage, it is either the Too Faced Born This Way foundation or the Collection Lasting Perfection foundation. So a higher end one, a drugstore one, love them both. What is your favourite highlighter? You are always on point. Thank you very much, I appreciate that. So I have a few, again. Well, I have three, so it depends on what they are. So two for kind of powder, cream, or cream to powder highlights. I have the Be Perfect X Stacey Marie Get Wet highlighters. Absolutely insane. They are quite glittery, so it kind of depends on what I'm going for. They have like glitter particles in them, which isn't always good for certain things I'm doing, like, yeah, anyway, it's not really for everyone. Then I have the Revolution X Soph palette. Obsessed. If you haven't tried the highlighting palette, I think there's 8 shades in there. I think it's about £10 or something. Sick, absolutely sick. I'm wearing it today. Absolutely love it. Like, price and for like the product payoff is absolutely insane. And then for like an illuminating highlighter or like maybe like a base highlighter, I suppose use it for that, is the Laura K London Illuminators, and I use the shade Nude, which I absolutely obsess over. I've mentioned it in previous videos as well. So they are my top 3 favourite highlighters that I kind of go back to all the time or kind of rotate using. When did I first start makeup? How did I get into it? What made me fall in love with makeup? So I first started wearing makeup or kind of getting into makeup when I was about 17, 18, I think. and that was because I used to have really bad skin, like really, really bad acne. So I thought that I would try and use foundations to cover that up. Didn't work. Really didn't work. And when I say my skin was bad, I remember being in sixth form, and outside our sixth form common room, there's like a big frame thing of like all of our pictures in there. And I recall walking past one day, and there was a young boy. He must have been in one of the first years in secondary school, and it was a comment along the lines of, "Oh my god, what's wrong with his face? Looks like he's got disease." Didn't know what I was talking about until I walked close and saw the point of my picture. Soul destroying. So yeah, that's the telltale signs how bad my skin was. Thank God it's not as bad now. I had some acne scarring and whatnot, but that is what it is. It kind of like comes with that. So that's when I started like wearing foundations at least, and then kind of a few years later, maybe like a bit of bronzer. It was that whole thing, like you get a bronzer like covering your whole face, so you just was completely different colours absolutely everywhere. It wasn't a good look. Everyone done it. Oh, never again. And then I think in terms of kind of actually doing more with makeup, like a full kind of beat with eyeshadow and stuff like that, was only like 2, maybe 3 years ago. Yeah, I stumbled across makeup YouTube videos, so I started watching them, and then I discovered that Boys in Beauty on Instagram were actually more of a thing, or kind of more of an upcoming thing. So it kind of, I didn't feel like I couldn't do makeup because I'd had like an interest in it. So that kind of led me to start my Instagram and doing this, I suppose. What gave me the confidence to go ahead and slay the makeup game? Again, thank you very much for that. I do appreciate the compliment. I don't feel like I'm slaying the makeup game. I think I'm just doing my best, I suppose. I don't know if it was everything of confidence. It was more so the fact of like, I kind of sat down and I bought some makeup, eyeshadow palettes and whatnot. And I was like, right, let me just play around with it, took a picture, and I was like really undecided, do I, don't I put this on Instagram? Do I, don't I, do I, don't I? And I think I just done it, and I absolutely shat my pants, thinking, what if it's not received well? Like, what if I get loads of negativity towards it? I had family and whatnot on Instagram, because I didn't just have a makeup page Instagram, it was a personal page. So I was really worried about people's responses. Yeah, I don't think it was ever confidence, it was more so just kind of being a bit ballsy and just doing it more than anything else. At the end of the day, looking back, what was worse that could happen? I got some negative or kind of snide comments from people. If I didn't do it, I kind of wouldn't be fortunate enough to, well, not unfortunate, yeah, I wouldn't be fortunate enough to kind of work with brands and get sent some stuff in PR and stuff like that. And I don't think I would have found my creative outlet as such, if that makes sense. I don't know if it does make sense, but in my head it does. So next we have, if I could do the makeup of one celebrity, who would it be? I don't know. I think I have like an idealistic or person that I would want to do someone's makeup on. Sounds lame, but I don't. But then it's because I don't really enjoy doing other people's makeup, if I'm honest. When doing my own, I have more creative freedom with what I want to do on my face, as opposed to being stuck to, well, I want a this, a that, I want to look like this, I want to look like that. I just don't do it. I don't enjoy doing other people's makeup. So that, I think, hopefully answers that one. What do I do when not doing makeup? What do I not do makeup? If this relates to job, a couple of people have asked, what do I do and what would I do if I wasn't an MUA? Do I have a day job? One thing, I'm not an MUA. I'm not done any training, I'm not qualified or anything. I just learned through watching YouTube, Instagram, just playing around with makeup myself. So I'm not a makeup artist by any means. It's not something I do for a job. My job, my 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, is that I am a personal assistant. I actually work for a financial service firm up in the city. I've been at this place for almost 2 years. So there's a bit of a difference between doing something so corporate 9 to 5 and then doing this as like a little side thing where I've got more creative, more flair, more flamboyance, I suppose you could call it. So I don't know if that answers that. I think it does, but there you go. Next is kind of a bit more general things about me, not makeup related. Sweet or savoury? I much prefer savoury things than sweet things. I have to be in the mood for something sweet. But I'd much rather a packet of crisps than a packet of sweets. Yeah, I much prefer savoury. I'm not a big dessert or sweet fan. Favourite cocktail when I'm out? I'm not normally a cocktail drinker unless I'm going to a cocktail bar. I'm normally a beer drinker. But if I was to order a cocktail, I think it would be an old-fashioned. I like alcohol to taste like alcohol. So for me, an old-fashioned, it just tastes strong. It's puts airs on your chest, don't get me wrong, and it can get you a little bit drunk very quickly, but that is the type of cocktail I'd order when going to a cocktail bar or going out. Favourite food ever? Italian food. Absolutely love Italian food. Italian or Caribbean food, yeah, Caribbean, West Indian food. It would have to be a toss-up between them. Caribbean because I like that it's kind of proper home food, it's filling, it's just, and the taste, it's just got a bit of spice to it, it's just great. Then Italian because I love garlic, lemon, seafood, so they're my two absolute faves to do with food. Now we'll go into a bit more of the, bit more about me stuff, I suppose. Age, I am 29. I am going to be 30 in March. Bit upset this lockdown's come into play because, or this last lockdown's come into play because I was actually hoping to be able to have a birthday party, which right now seems like a distant dream because they're saying this lockdown can be till earliest the middle of Feb. My birthday's 2 weeks after that, so there's no time to prepare, plan, invite people, get people to a birthday party, so a little pity party for one. Woe is me. Heartbreaking. How was my childhood? Where did I grow up? And did I have any aspirations? So childhood, I suppose it was just my childhood. It was normal for me, I suppose. So I'm one of four. There's myself, there's my sister Ria, who is 27. My brother, who is 26, and my sister Liv, who is 20. You've seen Liv, one of my YouTube videos, so that's one of them, but I'm one of four. It was kind of the usual bickering, arguing, fighting, play fighting. We always had each other, but we did run arguing a lot, I'll give it that. And as we've gotten older, it's gotten to be more of the opposite of that. There's a lot more solidified camaraderie and a lot more of a solidified kind of brotherly, sisterly type bond. I just think we're just able to talk more rather than bicker, argue, scream and shout. As to where I grew up, so I live in South West London, in Battersea. I've lived here all my life. My parents both lived here pretty much all their life as well. My dad moved in South West London still when he was younger, but come back to Battersea, so I've always been here. It's home. It's home, but not much to say on that one. And any aspirations? When I was a kid, I wanted to be a pilot, specifically a helicopter pilot. And as I kind of got older to research and look into that, I realised that you had to get a lot of hours flying time, like practice flying time or training, to be able to do that job. I ain't got the coin for that. I don't have the money for that. So that was an option. The other option was to enrol or enlist, whatever you call it, into the Air Force. This is not for me. Really worked for me. And then with enrolled into that, you obviously got your flying time up and whatnot in your training. But then there was like a 3-year subscription or like enlisting. You had to enlist for another 3 years after that. So if you were called to war, you had to go. Which I credit to anyone that's in the armed forces, absolutely credit to anyone. I just don't think that I personally would be able to do it. So I didn't do that. I then changed and wanted to be a plastic surgeon. I love the idea of being able to help someone achieve their idealistic vision of beauty for themselves. I get squeamish of blood. So that went out the window too. So yeah, I didn't really follow my aspirations or whatnot. But here I am. It's not all bad, I don't think. Favourite quality about me? Ooh. This is kind of like a blessing and a curse at the same time, so it's a bit both. Favourite quality about me is that I'm really, really emphatic. So when people hurt, I hurt. When people are good, I'm good. Which obviously is a good thing, because I'm able to kind of be the person that's there for friends, family, if people need to talk, I'm there. But on the negative side of that is that that's all it kind of seems to be, because I don't really like or allow myself to talk or myself to kind of put myself out there and be vulnerable, show sign of weakness and whatnot, which isn't always, well, it's not a plus. It can be quite isolating and lonely at times, because it gets to a point where sometimes you're like, well, why has no one asked about me? Why is no one this? No one can ask if you're okay if you don't give any telltale signs that you're not okay or that you are feeling down or low. So as much as that is a positive, it's also my nephew's in my house, so if you hear screaming, yeah. So yeah, that's kind of my favourite quality. But again, it's like a double-edged sword. It's positive, it's also a negative, because it does build a foundation for a lot of what my personality type is and who I am as a person, I suppose. Personal goal that's not relative to work. I think a personal goal for me is to kind of following on from the last one is just to not be so sensitive. It's easier said than done. Like I suffer with anxiety. I'm on anxiety medication. I'm starting therapy next week for anxiety. But because I'm so hypersensitive about absolutely everything, not necessarily about how I'm feeling, but kind of like the slightest little thing could happen. It could be that like someone's left me on red for a long period of time on like a WhatsApp or something and not responded, whatever. I'm like, what have I done? What have I done for this? And I get in my own head and I create these situations and scenarios in my own head that I then ultimately take out on other people in terms of kind of building it all in and then just having a big release and snapping, which isn't good for anyone. I know this is a problem. I'm trying my hardest to do it, but that my goal is to kind of stop being so sensitive and address things as and when they arise, but also not look too much into things that aren't there. If I'm honest, is that's my biggest personal goal. I just need to kind of get out of my own head. That's my goal, is to stop being so in here because it's a lot. What music am I into? My music taste actually really varies. So it could be anything from pop, it could be country, it could be bashment, dancehall, soca, it could be rock, it could be 80s soul, 80s pop. Like it's so varied. It is so varied. R&B, like it's just. So yeah, my music taste is so eclectic. It really depends on my mood on the day, if I'm honest, as to what I want to listen to. Especially like if I'm driving. I don't have like, everyone has like a set driving playlist or whatnot. No, I just have all the songs on my phone and I go into like shuffle. Just give me a variety, give me something different, just let me live my own very fantasy, basically. Like that's that. If I had a superpower, what would it be? So questions like this I kind of detach myself from, only because it's not real, it's not going to happen, if you know what I mean. So it's kind of hard to put myself or kind of think about something that I know that's not going to happen or know that is kind of almost impossible. But if I could have any power or superpower, it'd probably be the ability to heal people. Again, I think that comes from the fact that I'm so emphatic and it's just me trying to make sure that everyone's all right. Just be able to heal people. Into like, there's so many illnesses that have no kind of real treatment or no cure for. Alzheimer's, HIV, AIDS, Parkinson's, certain cancers. Like I'd just like to be able to kind of make it so that people can live their life to the best that they can and actually have full capability of themselves while they're doing it. So I think if I could pick anything, it'd be that maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I think. So I had a few of these ones. Am I single / do I have a partner? The time of filming this, I have a partner. So yay me. Yeah. So I'm not going to go into any more than that because that is kind of something that I do want to keep to myself. At some point, it may be that I showcase them over social media in terms of Instagram and YouTube, but at present, it's something that I do want to keep to myself. More so just because, I said, kind of really contradicted myself, the stuff I want to put out there and people don't do it. That's just a little bit of me that I want to keep for me. So yes, to answer that, I do have a partner. And yes, very happy. Thank you for asking. Best way to enjoy a cold winter day while stuck at home during lockdown? For me, I spend a lot of time just in my room reading or watching TV, if I'm honest. Hot chocolate, some snacks, music on, just being in my own bubble is the way that I like to spend my days. Again, it's not the best of things because I don't have time to get in my own head and whatnot, but I enjoy being in my own bubble and my own space and being able to kind of enjoy my own company. Yeah. So I think my best way is just kind of enjoy doing stuff that I enjoy doing that's not related to any kind of work. So not related to any kind of content creation, not related to anything 9 to 5 job, just being in my own bubble, enjoying my own company and just breathe in. Just allow myself to be with myself. Where do I see myself in 5 years? That's the question. In 5 years, ideally, debt-free. I'd ideally like to have moved out. Fingers crossed with my current partner. Travelled a bit more, definitely travelled a bit more. And potentially on the road to like having a family, I suppose. I come from a biggish family, there's 4 of us. Got tons of cousins and aunts and uncles. So I'd like to kind of settle down and be able to have my own version of that in 5 years. I'm going to be 35 then. That's nearly 40. I can't still be sitting here thinking that I'm like 18, 19 because I really ain't. I'm getting old. I'm really getting old. So that's my kind of 5-year goal, shall we say. Who is my hero? I never would have been able to give an answer to this before, like before recently, if I'm quite honest. And there were two people that I classed as heroes. It's going to sound so cliche, but they're my parents. So back in September of last year, my mum was diagnosed with breast cancer. She had the tumour removed. She is undergoing chemotherapy. She has her last session next month. Then she's got to do a bout of radiotherapy as well. And the reason, oh my god, the reason why I say that she is my hero, I suppose, is that she held herself so well. She was just strong. Do you know what I mean? Like I never in a million years would have thought that I would hear those words come from my mum about her anyway. And you know, she kind of I feel like maybe she has, maybe other people say different, but I don't feel like she ever kind of felt it. She cried when she first found out, of course, but after that, she kind of just got on with it. She just got on with it. She was mum. She'd always check to us how we were, if we were okay. She still does. It was a difficult thing to explain, but just the fact that she's been so strong, so resilient, and so selfless in that I know you've got to get on with it, but she's from the minute she found out till now, it's always made sure that we're okay. And I said to her a few times, like, you know, it's our time to, or let us look after you. Let it be the time that we look after you. You know, be your children, whatever, but you're our mum. We kind of have that duty of care for you as well. And hero number two is my dad. Again, sounds so cliche, my parents. But my dad has lost a sister at the first lockdown. She passed away. Then, obviously, my mum being diagnosed. Then my sister Liv, who again has been on one of my YouTube videos, she had a mini stroke. He then lost an arm, and he's now in the process of kind of part looking after another aunt and uncle of his because they both have cancer too, while still going to work, looking after us, being a dad. Yeah, so just my again the strength. I wish that I would be able to kind of have that much strength, that much grounding, and that much self-support, I suppose, because he's not one that talks, to be able to do all of that and still get up and go to work every day. You know, he's not had it easy since June, whatever it was last year. Like, he's had it rough. So I'd like to be able to think that one day, if I was to ever go through multiple bereavements, I suppose, losses in some sense, that I'd be able to deal with it the way that he has. The only way I've dealt with it is by being anxious all the time. So yeah, they are my two heroes, I say. So the final question is, who is the real Josh behind the makeup? Honest answer to that is, don't actually know myself. Obviously, I know who I am, but in terms of kind of comfortability and a sense of self, I don't always know, to be entirely honest. There are days where I'm like, yeah, power to me, I can take on the world, I kind of know what I'm doing, know where I'm going, I have some direction. There are other days where it's just like, who am I? That kind of on my own, isolation, always that element of comparing myself to others and not being good enough for a lot of people, whether it be in relationships, whether it be in friendships, whether it be social media, whether it be in my family. There's always an element of, I suppose that's kind of one of the reasons for all of that, why I actually got into, or why I still do the makeup thing as such, because with putting on a face full of makeup, it's almost for me like a mask. I can be someone else. I can put on that smiley, happy facade. I can be that kind of hee ha ha kiki blah blah, which I'm not that person normally. I'm just one that sits here, enjoys my own company, enjoy being around friends, and you know, the person I suppose is I feel, I hurt, I cry, I laugh, I struggle a lot. I doubt myself. That's the person behind the makeup, to be honest. Someone that is really not self-aware or kind of self-confident. There's a lot of there's a big lack of self-confidence in myself, which a lot of people won't believe or won't see. Then the other side, the person behind the makeup is, I'm a great friend. I'm I'm always there to support people. I'm always there to help people. I'm always there if someone needs me. You know, I'm me. Yeah, I don't know. It's a really hard question to ask again because I'm not entirely sure myself sometimes as to who the person is behind because I go through so much in my own head and in my own kind of feelings and behaviours that the real person is vulnerable. That's what I am. I'm vulnerable, sensitive, and I don't know. But then there were so many positives and so many negatives. But I think the way that things have gone recently for me, there's been a lot more negatives that I thought about myself as to who I am behind all of this. Life is one big progressive self journey. So yeah, that that is a bit deep and a bit intense for that question. That's why I saved it for last. I didn't know what I was going to say. Tried my hardest not to cry. I kind of show any of me being emotional about it, whatever, which I think I've done well on. But again, that's my own thing of not wanting to show any vulnerability or weakness, I suppose. But yeah, so I guess that brings us to the end of this. Again, thank you so much for the 200 subscribers. I do hope that this has kind of been able to give you guys a bit more of an insight as to who I am or where I am with myself at the minute. But I do hope that you guys have enjoyed getting to know me a little bit more and kind of getting yourself in my head, which is not a good space for anyone. But what I want to do is, I want one of you, all of you, to comment something about yourself in the comment box below. So yeah, give me something about yourself in the comment box. Love to go through, read. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be something so silly. It could be something. It could be anything. But if you did like this video, please give a huge thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Turn the notification bell on so you're notified every time I upload, and you can continue on this YouTube journey with me. Thank you very much, guys. I'll see you next one.